This video is about World of Tanks. What does it mean to be hull down? Now keep in mind that hull down is used in the military, it's used in tanks, it's used in the boating industry, it's used in other video games that are tank related. Now you see that there's an image here that I highlighted, a tank in the desert where the hull is obscured and you can only see the turret of the vehicle. And the reason why they do this is for two reasons. Number one, the turret armor is much stronger, which means it's more difficult to penetrate, and the lower armor is much weaker. And number two, you see less of the vehicle, which means the further you are away, the harder it's going to be to hit the vehicle in general. On the right, you see that there's a vehicle with a rock in front of it, and the tank is using the rock to reduce the amount of the vehicle that is visible by the enemy vehicle and to protect the weaker hull. Now over here on the left, we see that there's a bunch of vehicles that have different positions on a slope. And you see it says hull down position, turret down position. Turret down means that the turret is not visible past the slope. And over here we have another image, shows a red tank and a green tank. There's many ways to do hull down positions. We're not going to be able to see them all. For example, over here on the right, we have a tank surrounded by concrete. This is commonly done. For example, they might put an older tank in there, or a tank that is no longer able to drive, or if they really need to protect themselves because they believe the enemy is going to advance, they'll build something and put concrete around it so that you can only see the turret of the vehicle. Now, in the case of this vehicle in the desert, that's only one way to do hull down. He could also reverse up the opposite slope so that his hull is still not visible, but the turret is. So that's another example of what people can do. So we're going to see a few more examples. You can see all these drawings are basically the same. This is over here on the left is obviously an example that shows how the suspension lowers, which is ideal. Now over here on the left, we see a vehicle that is doing a hull down position. And on the right over here, we can see that there's a terrain where the vehicle is positioned in a hull down position. Because of the shape of the terrain, he is protecting his hull. Over here on the left, we see a drawing where it shows a green tank behind a little slope that also creates a hull down position. There are definitely other ways. You can see that this is one where it shows a vehicle that's higher. It can be done on a slope. So for example, if there is a slope and your vehicle is sideways and the slope has a little bit of roundness to it, you can use the slope of terrain. It doesn't have to be flat terrain. You don't have to be going, when I say slope, I don't mean you drive up to the top of a hill. I mean you're driving along the side of the hill. And what will happen is, I wish I had a drawing, unfortunately I don't. What will happen is by driving along the side so that your vehicle is tilted, where let's say the left side is facing towards the ground and the right side is angled up towards the sky, you can also use that to do a hull down position if that slope has a certain shape to it. We'll see if we can find it. There was another drawing I wanted to show you, but I didn't see it. Okay, so a lot of terrain has different hull down terrain. There also will be objects such as rubble in a video game, or perhaps a building that has a window. And pointing through a window also can give you a position where you are obscured. And being behind a pile of rubble can also give you an obscured position. I'm going to look up 45-degree angle. Sorry, I didn't prepare for this. Okay, see the 45-degree angle? Imagine your tank is driving away from you forward and it's tilted. It can still use that as a hull down position depending on what's on the other side. And there are terrains in video games, for example, on Mannerheim Line or Arctic region, it used to have an area where everybody could play on the slope and be in a hull down position. You can do it on other maps such as steps in World of Tanks. You can angle yourself on the slope and drive forward. You'll see players do it. They're not flat on the ground, and by doing that, they give themselves a little bit of a hull down position while their ally might be next to them on the ground. So you see what this guy is doing over here? He's not on the flat part. He's kind of like on the side. It's not a good example. Let's see if I can type in steps. No. I apologize for not having a graphic. Hull down positions can also be done on city maps, and there's obviously what's called an open field map, and then you have maps that have terrain such as a lake, and you can park in a lake and have a little bit of a hull down position. So I'm going to give this another chance. Thank you for holding on. Let's see if we get an image. No, I don't see it. We'll try one more sideways. No, I don't see it. But there is another way to do it. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, please post below.